Which question is that?
I want to know what the fucking pyramids were there for. What they do.
Yeah, he talked about.
It was built to warn you that a day would come when Orion would be back from the dead. And that was the sign that you were supposed to know. When you see Orion come back from the dead,
there's something else. This
you know
pyramid
that you are
structure
at the end of the world.
I use for experiments in my dungeon. Now, it has strange properties. I want to know more about properties of pyramid structure.
He said it's just a symbol.
No, it is not.
It's
it
not
does
a power
strange
plant.
things.
No, it had a function in the beginning. It had an energy function in the beginning, but I don't know how it works. You know, I've been dumbed down too, you know.
I use electricity and I
see, that's the thing. Compared to my own race, I'm dumber than a brick. But compared to human beings, I'm still a registered genius by comparison. I can tell you that those pyramids had a physical function in the beginning. But you know, the Egyptians not only didn't build them, they tore them down. You know, there used to be these white, like quartz, shine covering. You know, those pyramids used to be white in color.
They were limestone.
All right, man.
No, not on the outside. They were lines. They were like that pyramid that's in Las Vegas. It was beautiful originally. But when the Egyptians came along, they stripped it all off.
Yeah,
they stripped it all off.
Yeah, they did. They know where they went, too. They used them on some other things. But,
you know, there was...
last life, Bruce, your last life was 40,000 years ago, right?
Yes.
Like your previous one? So you had nothing... That's why you can remember it so well, huh? The memories are...
Yes.
It's like
I'm not reincarnated. Listen, I'm not reincarnated. I am a clone of a dead person.
But
I was alive 40 years. They're in my genetics.
Didn't you say you met
I have been to the other side. I have spoken to God.
He wants to know what God was like. He's scared that God is a mean bastard, you know, that's going to hit him and stuff, you know.
Now, listen, guys, you know, that's what I'm trying to tell you.
His testicles.
He came, listen, it's not a joke. We have 111 billion people, and we are all devoted Christians. Christians. We have a religion called the Royal Priesthood of Melchizedek.
What do you guys feel about Muslims?
No, that's a fake religion. That was created by the serpents. You know, you could go over to Muslim nations right now and ask any Arab person if they know what the jinn are. And they'll tell you, they know that the jinn are reptile people that live underground. If you ask an Arab person, do you want to go exploring this cave with me? They'll tell you straight out, no way. There could be jinn at the bottom of that cave, and they not only kill people, they like to eat them too. And it's weird because it's common knowledge to the Arabs, but it's not to the rest of the world. You know, the word demon, I was mentioning this to Eric. You know, people don't understand the word demon, as in demonic possession. The definition of the word demon is ghost of a serpent. Because what these guys do is right before they die, they astral project. And their person, their whole consciousness, leaves their physical body before death, and they begin inhabiting other people's bodies. That's how they come to possess people. And they are the enemy. Those are the grays. When you see demonic possession, those are dead grays on the inside of this thing. Demons are grays, and they're reptilian people. And you know, when Christ came to our world, he restored to us the one thing that we could not restore to ourselves.
Have you ever punched...
He gave us back our innocence. He paid the price.
But
He did the same thing on this planet.
The real
for
question
human
is,
race.
did Jesus Christ carry a
And we
sword?
believe-
And did you ever punch an alien gray in the face? Like, I know a few people that have. I know.
You asking me, have I?
Have you? Have you ever been abducted?
Oh, of course. I've tortured them to death. I've held them down to the ground and forced them to look in my eyes as I gutted them like a fish. You let one get within 8 feet of me and he's dead. I'm telling you that right now, because I've even measured it off. If I get within 8 feet of somebody and he's my target, he's dead. We're at war.
Bruce?
War. Yes?
Bruce? Can I ask you a question about the dinosaurs you talked about earlier? You said there was intelligent dinosaurs living?
Yes, those are the Greys. Those are the Greys.
Oh, they were living back then.
Yes, they're dinosaurs. They're from here. They're raptors. They began walking around bipedal on 2 legs. They began using their hands and arms for other purposes, and they developed ever higher forms of brain function to aid them in their hunting capabilities. 65 million years ago, there were no fruits or vegetables on this planet. There was only 2 food sources. It was leaves or meat.
Really funny.
So the species here were either herbivores or carnivores. And those Greys, they were carnivores. So to this day, 100% of their food intake is meat and meat byproducts, which brings up another minor little thing. When their parents die, they will have a ceremony that we would associate with a wake, except that at our wakes, people show up with food, right? At their wakes...
Don't say it. They eat their parents?
Yes, that's exactly what they do.
No.
They can't. Listen, but that's important. They cannibalize their own. What do you think that they do to human beings?
They make soup out of it.
These things, they want to turn you into cattle. And they're going to do it. Because don't kid yourself into thinking that the United States government is going to be able to protect you from an extraterrestrial blitzkrieg and beings that are millions of years in advance of you technologically.
So what
you
you're
guys
saying
are all
is
sitting there and
you're
you're
going to
all
be
about
making
to
us
be wiped out.
into
7
burger?
billion people on this planet are about to be massacred. And that's why I'm here. I'm trying to stop this. And nobody's taking this seriously. Everybody thinks I'm making this up, and I'm not making any of this up. I am the real deal. I'm not a wannabe. I'm not a make-believe. And if you hear anybody talking about anything other than the Nephilim or the serpents, they more than likely don't have a clue what they're talking about. And it's real easy because all they got to do is say something like, I talked to somebody from the planet Sorg that's 23 light years away, and, you have to take their word for it. But the stuff that I show people, you don't have to take my word for it. I will show you pictures from Mars. I will show you images of people with pointed ears. I will show you what's going on at Gustav Crater. I'll lay out the sciences for you. It's just complicated to do that. But most of this stuff, the governments know, but they're not telling the public because they're afraid that it will cause a public panic. But you need to know, because if the truth doesn't get out, all of you are dead. It's that simple, and it's going to be soon, I think. I think it's probably going to take place in the next 2 years.
Are you
referring
to the poisoning?
Oh, absolutely. You guys are not going to die of natural causes. You're not going to be asleep in your beds dying from old age. You're going to die from war. In the first 24 hours alone, they are going to kill people by the billions. And the people that are left alive on this planet afterwards, they're going to hunt you all down one after another, after another, after another. And when they find you, they'll swarm on you like insects, 20 at a time. And they'll pull you to the ground, and they'll gut you like a fish while you're still alive.
No, well, we're sitting on our lawn chair. Wait, let's get real. Well, we're sitting on our lawn chairs with a case of beer beside us, and we don't really give a fuck because I don't care if I live or die in a shit world like this anyway. Because I know I'll come back. Because my soul is eternal. Everyone's soul is eternal. So if they kill us, they're not going to really kill us. You can't kill our soul.
Yeah, they can't kill the real you anyway. That's what Christ is about. Make friends with Christ. You know, because if you make friends with Christ, no matter what happens to you physically, you're going to be fine.
We're not here to fear-monger the people and scare everyone like here on this show, man. We torture people and throw bodies down. Who cares? Eat them.
Exactly. You don't. That's the point. Do you think anybody out there cares about your extinction?
The Greys are, the Greys are Igor's favorite. He loves Greys. He likes squishing their helmets right into their eyes.
Here's the thing, though.
It's a tough balance because
when they take this world, and they will, it's not a matter of when. I mean, it's not a matter of if. It's a matter of when. It'll happen sometime between now and the year 2060. But it could just as easily be tomorrow. The thing is, it's going to happen, and the people who are left on this planet are going to be annihilated. But once all the human governments are gone, and the serpents take possession of this planet, then we are going to clean their clocks once and for all. We can't interfere right now because we are the people who put you in authority of this planet. We gave you this planet back after it was destroyed 40,000 years ago. We set you free on the surface. The only thing we told you is to be fruitful and multiply and to replenish the earth. That's all. We set you free to rule yourselves, to make your own decisions, or for that matter, to make your own mistakes. So we have to go along basically with the stuff that you're doing, because your people are in charge. If they don't want us here, well, most of the time we try to go along with their wishes, but a lot of times we don't. Like I said, we come here, we take people, we take soldiers, we take materials, for the war effort.
But
Bruce, it's going on right now, right over your head. What?
What can we do? Well,
I'll tell you what.
I mean, it sounds like a call for action, but what do we do?
It is a call for action. I'll tell you exactly what you should do, but you won't do it. 40,000 years ago, the ship that I was on crashed on the surface of Mars, and it is still there.
I'll do it.
All those, bodies on Mars do not decompose. All of those bodies are still there. They were photographed, the whole crash site was photographed by the Spirit rover on Sol number 513. That's 513. And what there needs to be a massive march on like Washington, D.C., like a 10 million man march, and ordering the United States government to release all of the original photos in their original state so that the people of this planet can see what really is going on.
And if we knew what was going on, what could we do?
Well, that's the point.
Go to Mars and
we have the technology to stop this from happening. We would be more than happy to come down here and put our military bases around this planet and to prevent this attack from taking place. That's what we would like to do. But the governments of this planet are not allowing us to do that. They're not even admitting that we really exist.
So the thing is,
well, absolutely, you can't defend against these guys. We could defeat them. You can't defeat them. We could, though.
So they don't attack Mars at all anymore.
Oh, hell no, because, no, that'd be a suicide mission. You know, why do you think that you lost so many satellites and things at Mars? You lost hundreds of satellites that were sent to Mars. And the reason is real simple, because it's like if the Russians flew a MiG fighter jet over Washington, D.C., the Americans would blow it out of the sky, right? Same if the Americans flew F-16 fighter jets over Moscow, they'd blow them out of the sky. You know, for a long time, you kept sending satellites and things to Mars, and we didn't know who it was. You know, all of these systems are automated, you know, so it's not like there's a guy sitting there pulling the trigger. It's a computer. It scans the skies, and if it registers an artificial object coming into the atmosphere, we fire on it, because it's better to shoot first and ask questions later.
Well, how did the Curiosity make it onto the surface?
Well, that's the point. That's what they did, because, you see, they landed the Spirit rover smack in the middle of one of our cemeteries. And they landed it smack in the middle of a section of the cemetery that was designated for human beings. In fact, the grave that the Spirit rover was sitting on top of was a German colonel who had been taken out of World War I about 1915. But he died on Mars at the age of about 110. And his grave is right there, and there's you know, headstones with his name and his birth date and stuff there. And while that was going on, the United States government was trying to take the opportunity to sneak in the back door by landing 2 rovers simultaneously. And you know, they lost the Spirit rover after 3 days, but they got it back, because as it turned out, there was a memorial on the side of the Spirit rover that was dedicated to the space shuttle disaster. In short, it was a monument to your honored and cherished dead who were killed in space in a space shuttle incident. And you landed that right smack in the middle of the cemetery that was designated for human beings. So the thing is, after we got this device, what it does is it locks up computer chips.
Oh my God. We have to go to break, I'm sorry. It's the last break. Let's treasure that last thought. We will be back on Monster Castle Paranormal with the Wolfman, Adam Shadow, Darren the Man of 1,000 Questions, and Bruce.
I'm here.
The man from another planet.
I'm assuming we're on break. win.
You're live, man. Tell us more about the Spirit rover, Bruce.
Yeah, okay. Now listen. The Spirit rover landed, and the cameras came out, and when they realized where they were at, they just sat there for 3 days because the camera was panning around, and NASA was doing comparisons with missing persons lists. So our people got kind of pissed off, and they fired this flash memory thing at it, and they locked it up, so you lost the Spirit rover. The thing is, we felt bad afterwards when we realized that there was a memorial on the thing. So what we did was we opened up a comm link between the Spirit rover and NASA. And what they did is while the comm link was open, they deleted all the information and they reprogrammed the Spirit rover from scratch. Once they had it back up to 100% operation, the Spirit rover began picking up an acoustical radio beacon that was broadcasting on the same homing frequency as the base of the Spirit rover. The problem was that the Spirit rover was still sitting on top of the base, and it wasn't coming from it. So they realized that the people on Mars were trying to lead them to something. And it took 1.5 years to get to the site, 1.5 years. And it was at the top of these mountains. They even named the mountains the Columbia Hills in honor of the space shuttle disaster. And it was at the top of this mountain that they found this crash site. They didn't find this crash site by accident. They were led to it by our people on Mars with the understanding that all the pictures that they were taking were supposed to have been shown to the people of Earth. But NASA doctored all the stuff out of the pictures. And they violated the law. They committed a Class 1 felony. It's like defacing of public property. It's the same as if I walked up and sprayed black spray paint graffiti on the White House. It was against the law. So the thing is, all of your answers, all the questions that you have, who are human beings? How did we get here? Who are the extraterrestrials? What's going on? It's all explained at that crash site in one way or another. And that crash site should be shown to the public. They are committing a felony by not letting you see it. You should have a 10 million man march on Washington to force them to stop lying. I am not making any of this up. I was sent here for a simple reason, because I'm a kind of a father figure to the human race, and because I'm expendable, because I was already dead.
Everyone take your pitchforks and let us
into reason and get you to stop this from happening. We would love to come here, but there's the problem. We're not going to give our technologies to the United States government. Any of the military fortresses that we would build around this planet would remain under our command and control. And the United States government and other countries will not allow that to take place. And if they don't,
Bruce,
you're all dead.
Quick question.
So go ahead. That's what I want to say.
Are the Greys or the serpentine reptilian Greys working with our NASA and our government? Is that why you guys won't give them your technology? Because then the Greys will use it against you?
No, first of all, it's not so much that they would use it against us. It's that they would use it against each other and you. You know, that directed energy weapon that they fired down on the World Trade Towers, that's a Tesla death ray. Where do you think he got that? He told you people he got those technologies from Martians. Go back and check it out, man. Nikola Tesla told you where he got all those technologies. He got them from us. But that's not the problem. You know, just for the record, Greys have infiltrated the United States government. That's what these hybrids are. I don't know if you heard that speech by Brigadier General Mike Miley, the Chief of Staff of the United States Army, who told the ROTC officers to prepare for war against hybrid armies and little green men. If you never heard about that, look it up on the internet.
I remember that.
You know, but the thing is, they have made people that are reptile on the inside, but have human skin on the outside. They also have other people that are 100% reptilian, but they have those holographic emitters that they wear on their bodies that make themselves look human. So there are grays. The grays are the ones that's making you buy fossil fuels. You know, you could have 0-point energies right now. You could put these 0-point energy systems in any car and never pay for another drop of gas. You could put them in your house and never pay another electric bill. You could be flying in the sky and never buy another set of tires. This whole civilization you have is built on theft. They're robbing you and robbing you and robbing you, and in the process, they're heating up this planet, which is exactly what those grays want, because they're reptilian. They want to make this planet so hot that humans die off, and they take it.
Yeah, it's hot,
They
hot,
like to
hot.
eat.
Can you feel it? Hot, hot, hot. I can dig it. Hot, hot, hot. Well, what I said, oh, I want it hot too. And I smoke a little bong with the fucking reptilian. If I don't like him, I smack the little fucker.
Let me ask one more question to Bruce before we all get out of here and we let him go. So you were saying before you're trying to save me, us, our human race. And I don't know if you said this earlier, but one more time, man, can you just really fast tell me, what are you trying to save us from by talking about your experiences?
Extinction.
Explain.
You know, you're not. Listen, let me be clear about something. We have given over a dozen planets to human races. But we've separated them. You know, like on one planet, we put only Oriental people. On another planet, we put only African people. On another planet, we put only European people.
Is that
on another planet?
wait a minute.
Only...
Why do you do this? Is that because they came and were inbred from different alien races to begin with, and you're trying to separate that DNA, or what's going on here?
Because this planet is going to be annihilated. We want to make sure that the human beings survive. We want to turn your brains
why
back
are we
on.
all?
See,
Why
that's
is there
a major issue in itself?
Why do Chinese people that are human look like different than white people that are human look like black people that are human? And is it true that black people poop out white stuff?
Well, you're all from the same group. You know, you all started in Africa, and you were all apes originally. But here's the thing, because our race, on our planet, we didn't have sunlight, so all of our races were all light-skinned. But all the apes that were here on this planet, there was a whole bunch of different colors. There were red apes, there were black apes, there were apes that had yellowy skin, there were apes that had whiter skin, apes, you know, and when
apes.
When you mutated into what you are now, you became mostly these different races. You know, our DNA only makes up about 3% of you. 97% of your DNA is identical to a chimpanzee. But you got to keep in mind that there are 3.5 billion pieces of genetic information. So all you got to do is add 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, and keep adding until you get up to numbers that are equivalent to 3.5 billion, and you suddenly realize that that's a significant amount of information. In addition to which, 95% of the 97% is junk DNA. It's out-of-date programming. So everything that controls your appearance, how you look, your bone structure, your face, your skin, your hair, it all comes out of a mere 5% of your DNA, and 2 of the 5 is from an ape, but 3 of the 5 is from us. That's why you took on our appearance and likeness. It was never our intention to breed you out of existence. You know, we built a monument to you at the base of Gustav Crater. There is a monument there that is 26 miles across, and it's in the shape of an ape face. And immediately to the right of it is a face of a man that looks perfectly normal, except he has pointed ears. and it shows this man with pointed ears in conversation with this ape. And we're not going to build a monument that's 26 miles across to a race that we're trying to breed out of existence. You know, we only interbred with you to save you from extinction. And that's what we're doing. We have been I think that's what the Bible refers to when people are thinking about the rapture. The rapture's been going on for a long time. Yeah. We are relocating people to these other planets where they will be safe, because we do not believe that the people here on this planet are going to survive what's coming.
All right,
and we know what's coming
Bruce, quick question.
Because it's happened before.
Yeah, I think someone else has a question for you, Bruce. Go ahead, buddy.
I got a quick question, Bruce. Why are human beings so important? Why are they trying to save human beings? One of the questions from the chat room from Gigi at Shift Happens.
You know, the simian people saved our race from extinction on 2 different occasions, both times with their own blood. The first time was over 52,000 years ago when we came to this world. The first time we came, we set over 10,000 people here. They came down to the surface. They took their helmets off. They breathed the air. And within 10 days, they were all dead because we had no immunities to microorganisms here. The thing is, we were able to develop vaccines from the apes because they were mammals and there was a lot of compatibility. And we created vaccines from the apes that allowed us to live here. And as a result, we lived here for over 12,000 years in a period that we refer to as the Golden Age. Then 40,000 years ago, we were almost wiped out to extinction ourselves again in the war. And the thing is, the contributions that these simian people made to us saved us all from extinction. If it wasn't for the simian people, none of us would be here today.
So you're basically returning the favor now, or trying to.
We do not want you to die. We owe you our existence ourselves. So besides which, you have our DNA in you now. So that makes you kind of a distant cousin. You know, you look like us, even though you've got all these different races and looks and shapes. And it's very different from us, but it still doesn't matter, because ape or no, you're still people. And you're still the living descendants of the people who used to be our friends. You know, we have never abandoned you. It was you who abandoned us. We are still watching over you, and we have continued watching over you for 40,000 years.
All right. Eric, let's ask the big question.
We know what's coming.
Eric,
hold on, Bruce.
I think you got the big question. We've got 10 minutes left. I want Eric to drop the bomb question. You got one?
I don't even know what that question is exactly.
Oh, come on. Okay. Let's all assume, and Yuck too, anybody listening, let's all assume that this guy's telling the truth. Because you don't know. Let's ask him the heavy-dutyest question we can.
Okay, let me say this. Let me just say this. This is important I'm sure there's a lot of skeptics. The bottom line is this. You guys have to realize something. This man does not have a website. He is not on social media. He's not on Facebook. He's not on Twitter. He's not selling any books. He's not speaking at conferences and making money. He's telling all this from his heart, from his soul. Wherever it's coming from, it's not for any kind of monetary gain or publicity or ego-driven agenda. So that's the first thing. So that, to me, gives him credibility right off the bat. Now, I know the story sounds fantastical. I get that. But there's got to be some truth in what he's saying. If it's not all true, there's got to be some truth. And I wanted to introduce him to you guys.
I've interviewed a lot of people, and I'll tell you, he's coming up with answers, boom, 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 and some of them are dead on to other people that have asked the same question. It all coincides together into a sort of a web of information that I've gathered, and it's fitting in.
Exactly.
Most of it all fits in.
Tonight, exactly. I mean, we talked for 7 hours yesterday, and there's so much more. in the future if Wolfman wants to have him back and Bruce wants to come back.
Actually,
there's so many more stories to tell, but we tried to cram it all into 3 hours so people could get a feel for what's going on. That's all.
Anyways, yeah, it's great discussion, and I enjoyed it very much. And yeah, I'd love to get more intellectually into it, but I was not prepared or anything. It was just totally spontaneous for me jumping into it. But I loved it anyways, and I definitely love to have you back.
I just want to say one other quick thing. In the space right directly over your heads, there are billions of ships parked up there. Billions of them.
Yeah, but you see, sir, you're talking to the Wolfman. I already know this. Wolfman already knows this. I'm in contact.
Yeah,
I'm in contact. I've been
abducted. We're trying to hold them off of your back. Because they want to annihilate you.
I just want to let you know who you're talking to. I am in telepathic communication with aliens as well.
Okay, me too.
You're not the only one.
Because all these aliens, you are the only race that we know of that does not have telepathy. You are a weird fluke.
Excuse me.
Nobody has seen anything like this before.
I have telepathy.
An intelligent race with no telepathy.
You're talking about humans?
Without the... What?
You're talking about humans not having telepathy?
Yes, you're...
Okay, wait a minute. I'm going to have to totally...
That's what the Tower of Babel is all about.
I'm sorry, but we have lots of psychics. We have lots of telepaths. I was telepathically communicating with my brother for years before the fluoride kicked in.
Good. Yeah, the fluoride, that's a big one too there, isn't it? Putting fluoride in the drinking water to keep everybody peaceful and docile right up until everybody shows up and kills them.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's the same as Prozac,
that's what you're
right?
Facing.
Anyways, I'm just saying, a lot of humans I know are telepathic. So I think it's our natural way of being. I think it's being messed up.
You were much more advanced, 40,000 years ago than you are now. You have de-evolved. You're not in the process of evolving. A lot of people put that out there. That's not true. You have de-evolved. We can take people one at a time and turn their brain back on.
If you actually dive into the belief of evolution, because I don't really believe in evolution, and I also don't believe in creationism. I have my own sort of belief in that, which is just basically interbreeding and manipulation of genetics.
Well, the Bible says that God said, let the waters bring forth abundantly the moving creatures which have life. It didn't say that he created life, abracadabra, hocus pocus. It says that he brought them forth, evolving out of the oceans. You can believe in the Bible and still be a Christian. You can talk evolution and still be a Christian. I do all the time.
I believe every human on this planet.
I'm the founder of a Christian ministry for the poor and the homeless.
Would you agree with this? That everyone on this planet.
I'm the founder of a Christian ministry for the poor and the homeless.
And then we want to talk
I
about
provide over 1,500 meals a week.
Okay, I just wanted to say every human on this planet has the power to come to this, what they call Jesus consciousness, and manipulate reality and create things with their mind and go into the fourth dimension, do whatever you want. We can all do this.
The fourth dimension is time. Time is the fourth dimension.
When you bend time, you can also bend reality as well and matter.
See, the trick is getting into the fifth dimension and the sixth and the seventh and the eighth and the ninth and the 10th and the 11th. That's where the fabric of space comes into play. Because we have wormhole technologies. We can fly halfway across the galaxy and still be home in time for dinner.
What is the technology based on? Is it based on your universal consciousness, or is it based on technology of some sort?
It's just technology. It's just, hundreds of thousands of years of technical advances. A lot of them came by war. Because we've been fighting a war for 40,000 years, and we're always trying to figure out how to make things better. And over the course of 40,000 years, it's like necessity is the mother of invention. We're fighting a war to try to save humanity from extinction. And we're winning. But that's us. I'm not human. I'm Nephilim. You're human. I'm trying to convince you to stay alive. And it's like everybody's going, well, I have a right to die. Well, okay, if you want to die, but it's really going to happen because it's already happened before. So 40,000 years ago.
How tall are you, Bruce?
They annihilated.
How tall?
How tall?
Yeah.
I'm 5 feet 11 and a half inches.
Okay.
I'm just a hair under 6 feet.
Well, I mean, I'm sorry to be an asshole, but aren't they the giants of the Bible?
Those are our children that were part human.
So the children were the giants?
Yes. No, they're part human. They're part human and part Nephilim.
Those were the giants then?
Yes. It was a genetic defect. It was like a birth defect from two different races interbreeding together. You have birth defects amongst your people when a black person marries a white person sometimes,
Yes.
And that's why I thought they would come from different alien races. That's why I was asking you.
Well, there's only
what about the RH factor?
About.
What's the RH factor all about?
Oh, you're talking about the blood.
Yeah, what's the RH factor?
No,
everyone says if you have this negative RH, then you're alien.
Talk that for hours.
Okay.
But, I'm not a doctor.
Wait a minute, talk for hours more than you, Bruce?
Oh, well, we could
I'm
always
a soldier. Listen,